It's a tier list that was made for me. Breakfast foods tier list. We've ranked many of the things that are on this list in other categories. I think we have done a cereal tier list. We've done a grocery store tier list. I hate this image. I'm not a big fan of that. I do want to say sometimes people get annoyed with me because I'm not in like great shape, but I do make some decisions for what to eat with at least like 20% of the decision is made for a health reason. Otherwise, I would be dead. So when people are like, you got to start ranking the things just by how they taste, I'm like, no, that's not how like adults in their 30s actually think, because all the adults who think like that already fucking died, okay? So this is an honest appraisal of like how my decision-making process works. Like if you want to see a tier list of which foods are yummy in my tummy the most, then fucking go watch like a 12-year-old kid stream a tier list of this, okay? And they'll just be, ice cream, yum, broccoli, ew, I'm F tier broccoli. That's fine. But like there's a composite of things. Price, availability, macronutrient profile, taste. How much space does it take up in my house? You know, like how much time does it take to prepare in the morning? It's for some of them, I'm like, what the hell even is it? That's another category that I think is relevant. What is this? It's a bagel, but the hole punch was busted. I don't even understand. Anyway, let's get started here. Let's leave it at SABC. Don't swear. Would rather skip breakfast. How does that sound? Like a cow on a thrush farm. Okay. Cereal. Let's go over the positive. Let's go over the negatives. Cereal. Tastes good. Confirmed. Relatively inexpensive. Insanely easy to create in the morning. Varies in terms of health quality. I think a cereal for me is kind of like it's like the perfect neutral free space. I think you can place this in the B tier. Just because it is not the best at anything except maybe convenience. But I think especially if you're like a kind of person who is like, I don't eat breakfast, but I'd like to, this should be your starter breakfast. It takes 30 seconds to make in the morning. I don't know what else I can say about cereal that hasn't already been said. To be honest, I'm racking my brain. I mean, there's a lot of products that exist within the cereal limit. You know, if you wanted the cereal category, if you wanted to buy something that was garbage for you but tasted like candy, you could. If you wanted to buy something that tastes like garbage but is not bad for you, you could. It's called Raisin Bran. But I'm not gonna move it to a C tier because like Reese's Puffs exist. I'm not gonna move it to an S tier just because, you know, Honey Nut Cheerios exist. I'm gonna leave it here in the B tier where I think it belongs categorically. This is an omelet. This is probably where we start to have a little bit of annoyance with the streamer. I don't like eggs as much as the average person. I would say I'm probably close to a standard deviation lower in my appraisal of breakfast egg products versus the average North American, at least. I could take them or leave them. If I get a breakfast at a restaurant and it has eggs, I eat the eggs. I don't leave the eggs and go, ooh, yucky. You know, when we went out for our Valentine's Day dinner, for whatever reason, my entree just came with a little slice of beet. It was just like a poached beet. I don't like beets. I ate everything else on the plate. There was just one little beet sitting there. I just ate the beet. I was like, I'm not going to give the server back a plate with just a beet on it like I'm 5 years old. I ate that shit. I enjoyed the mineral content. The flavor, not so much, but the the mineral content, sure, probably. Anyway, I didn't want the server to judge me. Oh, look at this guy, won't eat the beet. Did it taste like dirt? A little bit. But I will say, 2 times a year, I wake up early enough, I get my workout in early enough, and I say, you know what? I'm going to cook like a nice breakfast for everybody. For me, my wife, and the baby. Cut up some russet potatoes, put them in the air fryer, get the bread toasting, cook a breakfast meat, make some scrambled eggs. But an omelet, I'm not an omelet guy. I would almost order any other breakfast on the menu before an omelet. I wouldn't rather skip it, though. I would put it in the C tier. I'm also not I do have to acknowledge maybe we're leaning a little bit too much into convenience. I will never like cook a hot food that requires a skillet for a weekday breakfast. I would rather just eat a granola bar. I know that it really doesn't. I've made omelets, I've made scrambled eggs, I've made fried eggs. It doesn't take that much time. But if I'm at the point where I'm getting the skillet out and I'm going to have to clean it later, I'm not doing that shit Monday to Friday. I'll put toast in the toaster, butter it, and then put it on a plate. But I'm not. I would. By the time. Look, you know what I have for breakfast most days now? I take some skyr. I take some granola. I slice up a banana. Mix it all together and eat it. I will be done my breakfast and fueled by the time you're taking this shit out of the pan, which is fine. You know, if you got the time for it and you got the ambition, by all means. For me personally, this would be more ambitious than I would think is easy to stick to for a weekday breakfast. Now, speaking of which, I will never make this at home for myself because life is too short, unless your mouth, apparently, to hand grate potatoes in order to create, I don't even know, are these what you would call it? Because I would call this a hash brown, but these are also kind of hash browns, right? They're both, this is a hash brown patty maybe, and these are hash browns full stop. I will never, if I'm making breakfast potatoes at home, I am cubing the potatoes. I'm dicing them. That would be the way a normal human being would describe that. And then I'm throwing them in the air fryer, okay? And I think that I would love to eat these. I'm just not willing to grate 2 entire russet potatoes. Dicing takes longer than grating. Honestly, you must have like J.K. Simmons forearms. I do not think I could beat you in a strongman competition. I can do it, but like my dogs would be barking by the time I finish that second potato. But if you're just going like, and if you can do that, then more power to you, okay? But I can't do that. I can't do it that fast at least, so I'll just continue dicing. But anyway, long story short, I would love to eat these though. This would be like my ideal breakfast to get, a breakfast side to get from a restaurant, but I won't do it myself. I would probably put them in the A tier as a result. I think that's fairly well balanced. English muffins, I, as a kid, did not like them, and I'll tell you why. I watched an episode of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where at the end they had a recipe for how to make English muffin pizzas. You put tomato sauce on them, a little cheese, a little pepperoni, and then you put them in the toaster oven and you eat them after they're toasted. I thought that this would be the best food I'd ever eaten. I begged my mom to buy all the ingredients, made it in the toaster oven, ate it, and I was like, this is so much worse than actual pizza. It's just bad pizza. It's like a worse bagel bite. So for a decade, I thought I didn't like English muffins. Then I started eating them a little bit more. Probably like within the last 10 years, I would say. And I like them, but they're not my go-to breakfast bread. And the reason is they're too small. Maybe this is a gluttonous take, but if I'm eating a breakfast consisting of a toasted bread product, I want it to be like a bagel, 2 pieces of hearty bread or something like that. The English muffin, by the time I finish it, I'm like, I'm not so self-hating that I'm going to make a second one, but I also don't feel like particularly satisfied. So I feel like I always end up it's goated for breakfast sandwiches, no doubt about it. But by itself an English muffin, I would also probably throw it in the C tier. It's close though. Now I'll just be honest, I don't really know what this is. It kind of looks like a chair. It's a Danish, it's a pita, it's a bialy. It's a beanbag. It's just bread. It looks good. It looks like a cooked pizza crust. I just. Is there an egg in the center of it? Is there like an egg and some cheese in the center of it? Is that what's happening there? I think there is. When I zoomed in with, well, I just got closer to the monitor. I was like, I feel like there is some egg in the middle of that. Or some cheese. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to skip it. Just being honest. I wish I knew. I bet I would like it. I mean, you know what I had for breakfast this morning? I had a leftover chicken fajita. Chicken, fajita juice, green peppers, onions, little cheese, little salsa verde. This doesn't seem that different. It's just like a fajita that's not rolled up. With green peppers, yes. We don't need to go through my pepper take, but I ate a red pepper for the first time in like 5 years last week, and I was like, this shit is too sweet. This tastes like candy. I don't like that. I don't like eating like my savory meal and then there's like a piece of candy in there. Give me a green pepper. It's got a nice little bitterness to it. I'm a fan, man. This is an insane take. Red peppers are too sweet. I'm not saying they don't have their purpose, like a red pepper dip or something like that. Maybe you could make it into like a birthday cake because it's so sweet. A green pepper is superior for me. I'm not counting the spicy peppers. I'm only counting the capsicums, okay? I'm not counting a jalapeno, a scotch bonnet, a habanero, an Anaheim pepper, a shishito. We're staying away from those. Maybe you're a sweet super taster. How sweet are raw tomatoes to you? Not that sweet. I would describe them as more acidic. I don't know if that, maybe I'm psychotic. Maybe I'm an acid super taster. What's the lull for? Goggy with the pink name and the 0 instead of an O? Maybe you're literally on acid. Well, okay, I'm not, but maybe like my mind is just so open that even when I'm not aided by psychedelics, like I can see the things that you only see when your third eye is opened artificially. Anyway, I can't rank this. Muffins are like, why do you exist? Don't get me wrong, like you taste good, but we as a society like shouldn't be eating muffins anymore. This is like a food from the Civil War that like they invented so that Union soldiers could carry around like one entire day's worth of calories in something that's like the size of an apple. Like this is a food from the American Revolution. It's just a muffin. Why are you being weird? I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Look, it's like they taste good. I guess where I come down on this one, it's insane to me that McDonald's sells muffins. I think if you ever go to McDonald's for breakfast and you buy a muffin, you go to McDonald's too much. You go to McDonald's to get a breakfast sandwich, you eat it, you don't go back for 3 months. If you are like, oh, I've been at this establishment for so long that I'm sick of an Egg McMuffin, give me a McDonald's, banana bran muffin. You gotta start making some of your breakfast at home. You've been to the McDonald's too much. Unless, okay, if you're Warren Buffett, if the S&P 500 is in the red, then you just get a sausage patty and you have them uh, squirt the cola gun in your mouth for 5 seconds and then you drive off to work. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like just going off on a muffin, but like they taste good for sure. A muffin tastes good. It's basically like a dessert. I don't know what like everything I say is making me think that it should be in the B tier or above. But when I just think about eating a muffin, I'm actually getting like kind of pissed off. Like picturing myself like sitting at my dining room table with like a muffin and just eating it and looking at my phone. I'm actually getting a little mad and I don't know why and it's kind of scaring me. Like a muffin tastes better than an English muffin with a little butter. But I like weirdly, I feel like I'm happy. Like when I'm eating this, I'm like, oh, I'm happy. And when I'm eating a muffin, I'm like, this was the only thing I could get before my Greyhound bus had to leave at 8:15 a.m. and the only thing open within walking distance was Tim Hortons. Uh, my aunt's in the hospital. I don't have time to eat a real breakfast. I guess I'll just get a muffin. Like I feel like I only eat these on days where some shit has gone wrong. Is that just me? I'm teasing apart something in like my own history here. I never buy a muffin on like a good day. I'm never like, this day's going so well. Oh, I'll take a muffin, please. I'm always like, oh, I've got to get out of the coffee shop in the next 2 minutes. Just give me like the last muffin that's available. I got to go to therapy, I think. I don't know. I got to, like, this is what separates us from the animal kingdom. I got to place this in the B tier because I like it. I know that I like it. When I'm eating it, I'm like, this tastes good. It's bad for you, but, you know, it's very convenient. Maybe those cancel each other out. But, like, I got to do some more talking about a muffin, man. I gotta figure out why I got a problem with these. I will say when Costco opened up in my hometown, my dad bought these Costco muffins. I don't even know what flavor they were, but they were like probably like, you know, this big around. He would buy like an 8-pack of those every week. I think I just had too many muffins maybe growing up. Something happened. Like when I was going through puberty, I was eating more muffins than I'd ever eaten in my life, and I associated it with my right testicle growing to the size of a lemon. Something like that. Avocado toast. Like, avocado toast tastes good. Oh, hold on. It's UPS again. He didn't ask for the name this time. I think he remembers. Avocado toast tastes good. If you don't like avocados, whatever. So be it. You know, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. It tastes good. I can't be fucked to make it myself. There was like a month where I was like, I think I'm gonna become like an avocado toast guy because it's relatively good for you. I made it for like a couple of mornings in a row, and then I was like, I just don't want to eat that many avocados. Like the first avocado toast I have, I'm like, this is great. I should do this more often. And then the second one, I'm kind of like, I'm over it. It's not labor intensive. It's just like, you know, avocados are like a sometimes food for me. I like them, but they're. Plus, if you're like having avocado toast, that's got to be like a lifestyle for you. You got to make sure you got fresh avocados at all times. You got to have like a rainbow of avocados because they're only at their ideal ripeness for like 6 hours. They bloom like the corpse flower, right? Like you got to honestly keep like a ledger of which avocado you're going to eat and when. That's too much. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. No, I got to put it in the C tier. I got to be honest with myself. Okay, I feel like a cinnamon roll is where I might start to fight with some of my Scandinavian viewers. I bet we make them differently in North America, but cinnamon rolls in North America are fucked up. It's like the worst food you can eat. For your body, at least. Like, it's actually like cake, but then with more icing, and then also with sugar on top of the cake. Like, it's, you know what? I would like to know I don't have my cell phone on me. What is like a normal order from Cinnabon? What's the calorie count? Oh, wait. I bet it's like 1,000. I'm just waiting. 1,200, 1,200, 1,200. 880, 880, 880, 880. Okay, that 880 for a classic cinnamon roll, that's insanity. People are saying you're too health pilled. That's 880 like if I was like I don't eat regular potatoes cuz sweet potatoes have like a better glycemic profile, that's insane. You know, what are you trying to do? Be like a fitness competitor? If so, more power to you, but look at me. That's not the kind of guy I am. But like I don't want to eat an 880 calorie breakfast that's essentially like 2 slices of birthday cake mashed together. That's not being like too health pilled. That's like that's literally having the slightest filter. No, I'm not going to eat a cinnamon roll for breakfast and then skip lunch. Absolutely not. I love lunch. I would rather skip the cinnamon roll and then eat 2 lunches. So I do have to acknowledge a cinnamon roll, it tastes really good. But I got to put it in the C tier. On flavor, I would honestly tell you it's an easy S. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But it's so sweet that I don't just feel it in the moment, like I feel it after I eat it. Like this is something where after you eat it for like half an hour, you're like a little fucked up. You're not yourself. It's kind of disgusting. Now it's also kind of delicious, but still. It's better than a muffin? I would rather eat a muffin. I mean, like, I don't know. I would have to think about it. You know, is it my birthday? Is it my 12th birthday? Then I take a cinnamon roll. But like you can't do a tier list and just be like which of these things feels the best. You end up getting a tier list where it's like, oh, you know, heroin is in the S tier easily. Oh, a banana, it's okay. You know, like you gotta, this is how my decision-making process, it's not just based on like some kind of psychotic hedonism of like which one fires off more neurons in my brain. You gotta consider some of the objective data associated with these. That's how fucked up a cinnamon roll is from a macronutrient breakdown. It's got me comparing it to a needle drug. I wouldn't compare avocado toast to a needle drug. Maybe like a rosé, but not a heroin. Fruit salad. I love a fruit salad. I don't think it's a good breakfast food. And now you're going to be mad for like a different reason. I honestly, and look, I've been roasted for this take for years. Ideal haute cuisine breakfast, or excuse me, ideal haute cuisine dessert, little cheese board. Little cheese board. I like it. Second ideal dessert, if we went to the Buffet Delight, I think it went out of business. But I think if we went to the Buffet Delight on Gardner's Road, Bath Road in Kingston, Ontario, you would laugh. I don't want the soft serve for dessert. I don't want the weird Swanson's pre-made chocolate cakes. Just give me a fruit cup. Give me the melons, give me the grapes, give me the spherical cantaloupe. Even at like a Chinese buffet, if we're getting any dessert, I'm getting the fruit salad. I just like fruit. Not this is not even from like a health-based standpoint. This is just like I just enjoy the taste of fruit more than like, chocolate trans fats. That being said, a fruit salad is like an insane breakfast. It has no protein or fat component whatsoever. You're going to be hungry again in like 45 minutes. This is not an acceptable breakfast. It's maybe acceptable as like as a part of your breakfast, but as a breakfast, I have to acknowledge that I think this would be in the C tier. This is like a recipe for having breakfast at like 7 and then lunch at 9:30. It's not an acceptable breakfast for an adult. Now, a fruit and yogurt parfait. I've never had a McDonald's fruit and yogurt parfait. I need to ask chat here, okay? So for breakfast, I have some granola, some skyr, and some fruit mixed together. Is that a yogurt parfait or is that oatmeal? I know there's no oats in it, but here's the thing. It looks more like this than this. And also, it tastes the same as overnight oats that my wife made me. I've never had that, but isn't this more like an ice cream sundae or something? Nope, it's a parfait. Would an ice cream parfait be like an ice cream sundae? Yes. You see my confusion. I'm just trying to understand here. I mean, there's a lot of bias here. If this is what I have for breakfast, I have to put it in the S tier. Let me count the ways, okay? It's insanely easy to make. You literally just have some yogurt in your fridge, some fruits in your fridge, and some granola in your cupboard. In 2 minutes, you got a bowl of deliciousness. It also tastes incredible. You get the light sweetness and sourness of the yogurt, a little bit of granola, a little crunch from the granola gives you some nice texture. Because sometimes just eating yogurt I don't like because I kind of feel like it's like the feeling you get when you're about to throw up where you're like, I can't swallow. But if you add a little texture in there, then I'm like, that breaks it up a little bit. And you get the deliciousness of the fruit. It's not bad for you. It depends on the yogurt you get, I'm sure. I will say that my grocery store has not had skyr for a minute. So I had to get regular yogurt, like a probiotic yogurt. And it is ice cream. I cannot believe that they sell it in pints. Like maybe it's just because I've been eating skyr instead, but I was like, this is one of the sweetest things I think I've ever tasted in my entire life. My dad says, hey, well, I don't want to know what your dad's opinion on what yogurt tastes like, okay? If I wanted his opinion, I would text him and ask him to send photos. I'm happy with where the parfait is here. This is just a slice of ham. Oh, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Because I'm realizing now, we can't evaluate these things it's not fair to evaluate them as an independent breakfast. As a result, I am going to raise fruit. And I'm going to say that it is a B tier addition to a breakfast. I like it. Now that I don't have the leg to stand on the idea, because no one's eating a slice of ham for breakfast unless they're Lenny from The Simpsons. So like this is where some of them are a whole breakfast. We evaluate on that criteria. Some of them are obviously a side. Fair enough. Like a cinnamon bun, that's a whole breakfast, man. Avocado toast, an omelet, that's a whole breakfast. Hash browns, I wish, but on the spectrum of breakfast sides that are meats, ham is the worst. The only advantage that ham has is that sometimes the diner will be like, you get 2 slices of ham that are like almost this big, or 2 strips of bacon. you're basically asking me if I want like 250 grams of ham or like 60 grams of bacon. Sometimes I'm like, I'll take the ham just because like I'm a little hungry. But I mean, I'd take the sausage in that situation for sure. Either way, I mean, I'm never sad that it's part of the breakfast, but I'm never sad that like many of these are part of the breakfast. I would have to put this in the C tier, mostly because you evaluate it versus its counterfactuals. You would almost rather have, I at least would almost rather have any other breakfast pork product than this, including bacon. But I will also say, now how's this for health pilt? Okay? We've got to live in the reality instead of the world that we wish we lived in. It's time that we up the standard serving size of bacon in a traditional breakfast from 2 slices to 4. 2 slices is not enough. It's gone as soon as the plate touches the table. Obviously, 4 is worse for you than 2, but like 2 slices of bacon is just enough to make me wish that I had more. That's like, we're living on like 1960s dietary standards here. People ate less back then. People eat more now. We gotta go up a little, at least to 3. Because then the other thing, I've never done this, but I've seen it done. Someone in the crew, I don't remember who, did it at a PAX. But they were like, hey, can I I'll take a normal breakfast and then also a side of bacon. And then the normal breakfast came with 2 slices. A side of bacon came with like 10. There's got to be a happy medium there. It almost felt like a punitive measure. Like, I don't want a plate stacked to the heavens full of bacon. I just want enough to be satisfied. 2 is not enough. Anyway. Also, I think that every time I cook, there's a little bit of breakage. Which is to say, I eat some of the food out of the pan before it makes it to the plate. Lock me up. Lock me up and throw away the key. The first bite is always just a taste. And then usually I'm like, that shit tastes great. I'm going to eat some more, okay? Bacon has to have the highest degree of breakage of any food you can make. You've got to cook it in batches. So you've got like a piping hot plate plus paper towel combo of just sizzling bacon sitting next to you while you're cooking the bacon. You could easily eat 3 or 4 slices just cooking 12 of them. Like, one pan is just for the chef, essentially. Yeah, maybe they're cooking 4, but then the chef takes one out of the pan because it smells so good, and the server takes one on the way out. Maybe that's why you're always getting 2. Anyway, it tastes good. I would put it in the A tier. I was trying to come up with a reason to put it in the B tier, honestly, but I don't think I can. I still like it. I don't like Eggs Benedict. I just don't like it. I don't like the eggs portion, and I don't really think I like the Benedict portion. This is like the perfect storm for me for a food that I'm going to underrate versus the masses. Because first off, is egg driven. Maybe not egg based, but egg driven. It also has a sauce that I just don't like on top of it. But then third, there was like a 5-year period where when brunch took off, the stock of Eggs Benedict just rose right through the freaking roof. Every restaurant you went to, if it was a trendy brunch spot, they never innovated on any part of the brunch menu except they'd have like 9 different types of Eggs Benedict. Maybe they would add chicken and waffles to the menu just for the non-egg eaters like myself. But then it would be eggs Benedict with salmon, Eggs Benedict with it. There was like, we do Eggs Benedict like 20 different ways. That's not brunch. That's just one thing. And this shit pissed me off, okay? Because sometimes Kate would be like, you want to go out for brunch? We'd go out for brunch. She loves Eggs Benedict. I was happy for her. She would have like 10 things to choose from. And then for me, it would be like, do you want to pay $21 for a classic breakfast? that has one sausage because we get it from like a real butcher shop instead of the grocery store? Or do you want to just, sometimes I'll just be like, I'll take a croissant and an iced Americano. Shit drove me insane. Anyway, like, this is probably, I'm just speaking my truth. I would rather skip breakfast than eat Eggs Benedict. It's not out of principle. It's just like I don't like it. I just don't enjoy it. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying nobody should eat it. Like, nobody should eat the cinnamon roll. But you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. This is just me. This is just me saying I wouldn't eat it. I would prefer not to. I'll also level with you, even as a side, I don't want baked beans as a side. I like beans. I would go in on some huevos rancheros. You want to have some black beans in a breakfast burrito? You want to have a side of refried beans or something like that? I'm all about it. Baked beans are just like the worst possible permutation of bean. Like, you shouldn't cook something to make it worse than it was before it was cooked. You're wasting so much time to just make something not as good as it was before you even put it into the pan. UK is mouthing right now. Look, I know you're like proud of your full English breakfast. It's a very North American take, okay? But like, the full English doesn't really appeal to me. I like the toast. I like the meats. I like the little triangular hash brown patty. Then you kind of go off. Before I make any enemies, I might even prefer the bacon rashers to the strip bacon that we have in North America. I enjoy that it's a midpoint between a ham and a bacon strip. I'll eat a bacon buddy. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But then you kind of like go off. I don't want baked beans alongside my meal. I don't want half of a tomato and 2 mushrooms, like, for no reason. I don't want blood pudding. Like, just, I know that it's North American. I grew up in North America. I still live in North America. It was like a full English breakfast. I only really want like 40% of it. At least like an American diner breakfast, I want like 75% of it. I'll eat the tomato for breakfast. I'm not that into the breakfast mushrooms, though. Anyway, we don't need to make enemies. This is just my 2 cents, okay? Now, home fries are not as good as hash browns or hash brown patties, but they are much easier to make. For me, I'm going to place them in the high B tier. I enjoy them. There's 2 home fries on this list. What the... You're absolute... What the hell is this? What are these? These are both home fries. What's the difference? The other one are breakfast potatoes. Breakfast potatoes are home fries. Ranch potatoes, these are not tater tots. I don't know what... I'm not ranking home fries with no chives versus home fries with chives. I'm putting them in the same section. If you can't find a representative photo to delineate between these 2 things, like, they're going in the same spot as far as I'm concerned. They're potatoes O'Brien. What the hell are potatoes O'Brien? It's potatoes, onions, and peppers. That's just potatoes. They're not croutons. Nobody's putting croutons with their breakfast. This is stupid. That should not exist on this list. That's just my 2 cents. Latkes. Latkes are insane. Latkes go hard. They're basically home fries, or sorry, hash browns, but better. I have made them at home. I know he's very latke pilled. I will not make them myself. They're so annoying to make. Like, if you want to eat breakfast at 8, you better start grating potatoes at like 5:45. You gotta grate them. Then you gotta squeeze the shit out of them through a cheesecloth so there's not even like a single drop of water left in them because they'll be soggy as hell. Like, it's so annoying to actually make them, but they taste so good. So if you're cooking, I'm eating. Otherwise, if I'm at home, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably just making potatoes O'Brien, which I just found out is a thing that exists. But I love a fried potato, like a croquette or a Japanese croquette. A latke. What's the German potato, deep fried potato, like it's called a rosti or something like that. Those were kind of like taken off a little bit here. It's like a tall hash brown. I love them all, man. It's actually Swiss. I apologize to the proud people of Switzerland. The Swiss rosti. Sour cream or applesauce for the latkes. I'll take whatever, man. I'll take whatever. Potatoes are just the best food. It does everything. I know it's like boil and mash them, stick them in a stew, but like legit, that dude was spitting. You can do anything to them. As long as they're cooked, it's fine. And you can cook them like, if you undercook them a little bit, you're like, this is still pretty good. If you overcook them, you probably don't even notice most of the time. I tweeted like mashed potatoes got to be like the goated side dish. They taste delicious. They're insanely easy to make. I don't even really use like a mental timer for when I make mashed potatoes. I'm like, if you leave them in the pot for an extra 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. They're the same. Undercooked is not good for mashed, but like it's very difficult to overcook a mashed potato in my opinion. Anyway, I've taken it too far. Like I'm a non-believer, but like it's one of the things that makes me be like, maybe religious people have a point. Cuz like the existence of a vegetable that like it grows in the ground and does everything and is delicious, and every potato is like 30 cents at the grocery store, like that's something that could only be explained by divine benevolence. We did that though. All right, I've been watching a lot of Midnight Mass. I finally finished it. I've just got like 6 or 7 more monologues to go. No, I rolled credits on it. Anyway, this is Biscuits and Gravy. That's got to be like another food that human beings should not eat. I have had this one time. I think you already know my opinion on sausage as well, because this is sausage gravy, right? Sausage is a superior... I know that this is like I'm lumping every sausage into one category. Sausage is a superior meat. Anything like I make pasta at home sometimes. In the sauce, I never use ground beef anymore. I always just use like an Italian sausage because it's like ground beef but with a little bit of added into it. I like when it comes to breakfast, I might prefer the flavor of bacon a little bit, but like when you're comparing like 2 measly strips of bacon to 2 breakfast sausages, I'll take 2 breakfast sausages any day of the damn week. I've got a lot of respect for sausage. I think personally, I'm going to throw this in the B tier, and I'm going to plead a little bit of ignorance. I'm going to plead because I haven't consumed them that much. I know that I like the taste. I've never met a breakfast that's too rich for me. This is probably about as bad for you as a cinnamon bun. But I feel good at, like, this is like getting hugged on the inside. This is actually like somebody hooked up a car battery to your nipples and then stepped on the gas, right? Like this is jolting. It feels like I've been shaken out of my homeostatic equilibrium, and this is more like smoking a cigarette and being like, "Oh, that was fun." Like this is what are you talking about? I'm getting too deep into the metaphor, okay? So we had ham, but then this is worse ham. But I still would not skip breakfast rather than eat this. Sometimes, so this, I think, like this is ham. And then when you go to the grocery store here, this is back bacon or Canadian bacon, which is fucked up because Canadians don't really eat this shit. We eat probably this the most, but then also we eat a lot of something called pea-meal bacon, but sometimes the grocery store doesn't have pea-meal bacon, and they'll be like, well, we got these circles. And I'm like, I know about the circles. There's a reason I asked if you had any pea-meal bacon. Because this is not good. Anyway, I mean, I think it's worse than this ham. I would still eat some, though. Don't get me wrong. Breakfast sausage. I'm going to hesitate to put this in the S tier. I'm going to stick it in the A tier. I will say, I don't know if this is like a perspective thing. These are the biggest breakfast sausages I've ever seen in my life, I think. The average breakfast sausage is like the width of your ring finger. These are the width. These are, yes, Kaka in the chat. These are the width of something else, if you're lucky. Now I feel weird seeing that one of them has a bite taken out of it. I love it though. I'll eat a sausage for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'll eat a breakfast sausage. I'll eat a pasta with sausage as part of the sauce, and then I'll eat bangers and mash for dinner. It's just you can eat it for anything, and it tastes good. I support it. You could eat it between a bun. It's kind of like the potato of meats. Now, a sausage patty, I love a sausage patty in a breakfast sandwich. On its own, on a plate, it's too salty. I would still eat it, but I think that I would rather have a breakfast sausage like this than a sausage patty. They're so salty. I'm actually going to move this down to the B tier. I enjoy it. And obviously, this is going to go better on a sandwich because of its shape. I also just realized, I think for my entire life, I thought that this was like a cross section of a sausage. I thought that they had one big sausage and then they took a slice out of it for the sausage McMuffin. What it actually is just the ground sausage meat pressed into a circle shape. I was under the impression that there was like a 6-inch diameter sausage out there that they just sliced one off. Just things you don't think about, you know? That's way better. It would be nice. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't do it. This one, I also see this as being divisive, honestly. I love a basic toast with butter for breakfast. Even though it's roughly the same amount of work as avocado toast, maybe like 10% less, I think I ate a lot of it growing up. It all depends on the quality of the bread for sure. But I love it, man. Like I would honestly, it's one of my favorite parts of the classic breakfast too, is the toast. It also elevates the eggs to put the eggs on top of the toast. It makes the whole breakfast better. I would honestly put it up here in the A tier. And you might be saying, well, why are the English muffins down here in the C tier and then you got toast in the A tier? Triangular toasted foods taste better than circular toasted foods. It's why they slice pizza instead of just serving you a little circle that you pick up and eat like circumference based. There's like some food science that like toasted triangles taste better than toasted circles. Something to do with the edges, the vertices. There is no science. I think there's some science. If not, they should get working on it. Oatmeal, look. Oatmeal has its place. Oatmeal is better for you than a yogurt parfait. Full stop. But to make oatmeal taste comparably to a yogurt parfait, you got to add enough shit to make it almost as bad for you as the yogurt parfait. Like if you're eating instant Quaker Oats, brown sugar, oatmeal, and then you're adding like fruit and honey to it after you make it, and you're like, this is so good for me, stop living in denial, okay? We're not so different. If you're making... So when I was somewhat health pilled for parts of college at least, I would make like instant oatmeal with water instead of milk in the microwave, just like oats and water, put it in the microwave for like 3.5 minutes. You're basically just eating like oat batter. And then for years, I never understood why people actually liked oatmeal. Because I was like, this is like glue. I'm only eating it because it's like, you know, a high calorie breakfast with a good breakdown of carbohydrates and protein. Because I would put some protein powder in it as well. Then, like 6 months ago, my wife made me overnight oats. And I was like, is this how this shit is actually supposed to taste? Because this is delicious. This is a food that I was like, there's no compromise. Like when I was eating oatmeal before, I was like, this is a compromise that I'm doing for my health. Overnight oats, I was like, these are tasty. I can see why people eat this. But I'm working through like my oatmeal respect. Now, a fried egg. I know you all think you're Anthony Bourdain and one of the first things you got to do is learn how to make a perfect fried egg, sunny side up, and then when you slice it, the yolk runs out, and you can dip your bread into it. And look, I know you all think that you're all so cuisine pilled and stuff like that. I just do not really like a fried egg compared to any of the other egg variants. It would probably be one of my... Maybe I would prefer a fried egg over a poached egg, because it takes sauces better than any other egg, even scrambled. This is the best egg to put a hot sauce on. I don't know why. Maybe it's partly aesthetic, but it just, like this with a little bit of hot sauce dashed over the top, looks fantastic, even versus a scramble. So a scramble, that kind of becomes part of the miasma. Like with this, they're separate entities, but working together. That being said, anytime I get the chance, I skip ordering this. I would rather have scrambled eggs. If I'm going to order a fried egg, you can be mad if you want. I guess this just means I have inferior taste. I would honestly be the kind of weirdo that orders his eggs over medium now. I don't mind a softish yolk, but I don't want it running out everywhere. Over hard is like a little too much for me. It's like ordering a steak well done, but I'll take an over medium. But then I'm like, this is Denny's. I know they're cooking eggs all day, but I don't really trust them to get the over medium 100% right. I'm not that picky. Like if it comes out runny, I'll still eat it. But anyway, there are a lot of egg-driven things here. By the way, I was wrong. I would much rather have a fried egg than a hard-boiled egg. This is crazy. Like I respect it on a nutrient level, but a hard-boiled egg is so annoying to peel, for one. I know there's tricks. What do you put them in, like you put 2 stainless steel bowls and like shake them, or you put them in freezing cold water or something like that. But the real problem is that it stinks, man. I know that the take is probably going to be that people are going to be like, oh, they only stink if you cook them wrong, then fucking everybody is cooking them wrong. Because you don't have to ask if somebody's got hard boiled eggs in the work lunchroom. You know when somebody's got hard boiled eggs. I'm not against stinky foods necessarily. I'm just saying this food stinks. You're probably boiling eggs for too long. I don't make hard boiled eggs because they stink. I'm not overcooking them. Like, your personal attacks have no merit here. I'm mostly annoyed by the fact that I smell them constantly. Like, not ambiently unless I'm in Iceland, but like, on a regular basis. Hard boiled in a salad. I feel like I'm not weird about food. Like, I'm actually very normal and I'll eat almost anything. But like, I feel like some of my weird food hangups come from spending 12 years in public schools where you're forced to eat lunch in a room with like 29 other people. So that, I'll be honest, I think is where a lot of my egg salad hatred comes from. Is 5 days a week for 12 years, 4 kids out of 30 having egg salad sandwiches, and just those 4 kids are responsible for 100% of the smells. Shit pisses me off. He's just a small town boy living in a lonely world. What's the weird third item in the B tier? That's every breakfast cereal. Anyway, I don't know. I don't like egg salad either. I am stunned. You're right. There's no waffles on the list. So let me be honest with you. I would place pancakes. I'm not gonna make America any more mad than they already are at me, okay? I would put pancakes in like the B tier. But waffles would be an easy S. I can't believe there's still a debate over like when people ask like do you prefer pancakes or do you prefer waffles? It's actually just a surrogate question. You can just ask do you have a passport? Because nobody with a passport is like this is even a close contest. Waffles versus pancakes is like it's a solved problem. Sure, crepes. We can throw crepes into the mix, but nobody's saying crepes, are they? They're saying pancakes. Like pancake batter cooked on a griddle in a circle, little smiley face, add some blueberries. It's tasty. And then with some maple syrup is good too. But waffles are better with all those ingredients on them and also far more versatile. Nobody's making creme fraiche smoked salmon pancakes, okay? I easily, if you had a waffle maker, or like if you gave me a Liège waffle, crisped up nicely, that beautiful square, I would eat it if pressed with no sauce, no seasoning, no flavoring. And I would be like, this is pretty good. If you gave me a pancake fresh out of the pan and then said we're out of maple syrup, I would be like, where's your compost bin? Because I'm not eating this. You think I'm just going to eat round batter? You can still have good pancakes, don't get me wrong. By the way, can I tell you something? Because we went through this debate earlier, but in the opposite. The bacon serving size at restaurants is too small. It should be doubled. The pancake serving size at restaurants is way too fucking big. Nobody needs a stack of pancakes. Don't even get me started on like a large stack. You need like 2 pancakes. Like one the size of a plate or like 2 normal size pancakes. You do not need a stack. Also, a stack it's like the worst way to eat something. Because, like, only the top of it is seasoned. Well, sauced, I guess I should. Three? Okay, sure, three. I'll let you have three, but more than three is you're just playing with it. Four? Come on. Anyway, like, I mean, there's no waffles, and I don't feel comfortable putting the pancakes where I would put the waffles. So I would put the pancakes in the B tier. But I will say, like, it's more for the syrup and the butter. Like, I know you could say the same about a lot of this stuff. Like, oh, it's more about the granola and the fruit than the yogurt. But, like, I guess they're part of the pancake. But I think pancakes get too much respect. I'm trying not to be rude, but the dark passenger inside of me wants to say something. I'm not saying this, but it wants to say something like, the only people who think pancakes even come close to waffles think it's exotic to travel to the capital city of the state where their hometown is. That's what the dark passenger inside of me wants to say. Now, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that, like, I think maybe if you live in Fargo, you're like, I'm so excited. We're going to go on a family trip to Helena later this summer. By the way, the pancakes are amazing there. That's what I would say if I was trying to have some very nice people in chat catch some strays, even though they don't deserve it. Love those Helena pancakes. Coastal Elite take? Say my name. French toast. I don't like it that much. But it's better than pancakes. I've probably consumed it less than 10 times in my life. I never order it for myself. But I basically look at it like, why they should just be called bread pancakes. It's the same composition. The syrup is the driving force. I place it in the B tier, but elevate it above the pancake itself. Now, a hash brown patty, a McDonald's breakfast is like literally just perfect. I wanted to say this is the main reason you go for a McDonald's breakfast, but then I thought about the saltiness of the sausage patty with a little bit of melted processed cheese on it. And then I thought about how crispy the edges of the English muffin get. Thought about the little air pockets inside of it, and I was like, man, it's all good. It's just a great breakfast. I don't slip into restaurant gluttony too much, but I will say, anytime I get a McDonald's breakfast now, which is not that common, maybe like 4 times a year, I add the extra hash brown. I'm not okay self-identifying as the guy who gets double meat at Subway. I'm not okay ordering, like an extra large soda or something like that. I don't want that to be on my personal resume. But I'll get a second hash brown. For sure. I'm okay being that guy. Anyway, that being said, it's not as good as a latke. I mean, I would probably place it up near the top of the A tier, I guess. But if McDonald's started selling latkes, I would be all in. I would get some. And I know we say this every time we talk about McDonald's, but you can't advertise an all-day breakfast if you start serving French fries at 11 and stop serving hash browns at 11. You're just selling breakfast sandwiches all day. You go through the McDonald's drive-thru at 11:01. I'll take a sausage McMuffin combo. They go, we don't have hash browns, we only have French fries. My brain's so confused. I'm eating a breakfast sandwich. I'm eating a big red box full of French fries. This doesn't feel right. A George divided cannot stand. It changes things. I don't know. I'm assuming that, it's a pretty efficient operation. I guess they gotta move all of their fryers over from hash browns to French fries, but just pisses me off. Like you couldn't just over make the. I mean, they probably got their operations under control. Very rarely do I go into a McDonald's and go like, this place is a fucking disaster. Usually I'm like, this place is run like a pretty tight ship. Sometimes you go into a Subway and it's just a disarray. Some dude's trying to get his sandwich untoasted after he's already gone through the toaster. You know, it's a cluster. I feel like they must be training the McDonald's staff pretty well because it does. I always feel like it's when you go through those doors, it's like you've entered Das Boot a little bit. Like everybody knows their job. The people who cause the problems at the McDonald's are the customers, without a doubt. A bagel. One time I tried to go through a McDonald's drive-through on my scooter and they ignored me at the box. I think that they should serve you, but I also think that they're told not to for insurance reasons. Because I think you can be crushed by a Chevy Silverado and then your family could sue the McDonald's for letting you into the drive-through. They were on to me. Malf, you and I tried to walk through like a Taco Bell drive-through once. I remember. And I think they did serve us, but I definitely think with what little memory I have, I think we had to finesse it a little bit. I think they were like, we won't serve you, and then we were just like, oh, we didn't know we needed a car, we won't do it again, and they were like, okay, fine. But this was in the mid 2000s, which at the time, I think like when I think back to the mid 2000s, I was like, whoa, it's like people are running a tight ship back here. Like, oh, everything's so strict and by the rules. Now that I look back and it's, like 17 years ago, I'm like, man, people were kind of just flying by the seat of their pants back then. I mean, it wasn't like the 70s. They weren't letting like 12-year-old kids drink or anything like that. But, still, I think a little bit more lawless than it is now. When Kate was 20, she got into a media event where you had to be 21 or older. She just showed her ID to the bouncer, and the dude literally said, close enough. This is in America. You had to be 21 to drink. And then gave her a stamp. And at the time, I wasn't like, that's normal. I was like, that's really lucky. But looking back, I'm like, that dude would be canceled as hell. He would be like in prison. Instead, he just lives like as a legend in my mind. Anyway, he's kind of a bro. Yeah, and we didn't cause any problems. I think no more than anybody else there. Okay, bagels. It's perhaps ironic, but I waffle on bagels and bread all the time. I think a bagel is just a better bread for the most part. When it comes to toast, at least, I would place a bagel in the A tier above the bread. But I have a caveat here. I have to watch you toast this shit. If you've got a pre-made bagel sandwich sitting in the display case and then you warm it up, that's not the same. Because it's not crispy anymore. It's just like hard. There's a subtle difference. It's like you ever toast a sandwich. Maybe you're going to work and you're like, I leave my sandwich in the fridge at work for 3 hours before lunch. Then one day you toast it, think you're a little fancy. Then you go get your sandwich at noon and you're like, why does this toasted sandwich taste like ass? They have to be toasted in front of you. You have to just take the sandwich as is and then toast the bread right before you eat it. I'm happy with it in the A tier. I'll be honest, I'm also happy with the croissant in the A tier. I don't think you need much more discussion about this. These are all, they occupy pretty similar niches. Now, a croissant breakfast sandwich could be elevated. A croissant and a little ham and a little cheese, and then it's been toasted or broiled a little bit. Now we're talking. As on its own, I would still place it here. And I got to tell you, a butter croissant, sure, delicious. An almond croissant, though, holy cow. It's a dessert, essentially, but man, that's tasty. Now, that's breakfast right there. Probably as bad for you as a cinnamon bun, but a donut. I thought I didn't like donuts for a long time because I don't really like, like birthday cake. But I realize I now like donuts, and the difference is when I was growing up, the only place in my hometown that sold donuts was Tim Hortons, and they're fucking ass. Like, they're just like risen bread. Some of them are okay. Like, I'm not gonna knock a Timbit, but like the Tim Hortons donuts, like the maple dip and the chocolate dip and stuff, it's not. We've passed that as a society, okay? But like a cake donut, oh man. Like I don't know if you're in Vancouver or if you're familiar with the area. There's a big donut fight going on. A lot of people out there they like the Lee's donuts on Granville Island. They're more of like a yeast donut style like a Tim Hortons, but actually good. I'll make a trip for a Lee's donut. There's also Lucky's. Frequently found next to Parallel 49s. A Lucky's donut, more of a cake donut, also delicious. I gotta tell you, I'm more of a Cartem's man, personally. That's where I come down in that little dilemma. But I like them all. Overall, I mean, I look at a donut less as a breakfast and more as a snack between lunch and dinner, or a snack between breakfast and lunch, which is, I wouldn't feel great about myself eating one for breakfast, even though I guess it counts the same no matter what. But I'll put it in the B. I guess I'm not as a breakfast. As a snack, sure. But as a breakfast, I mean, it's above hard-boiled eggs. Don't make me laugh. But, I mean, I think it's also above rectangular ham. These are scones. Is this correct? You're not going to believe this. I think we have another damn delivery. If they ask for my name, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I'm going to say Heisenberg. I'm going to tell him my name is Walter White. These are biscuits. This is a weird one for me because I've had biscuits, but I've never had biscuits for breakfast. So in parts of America, you would just have like a plate of biscuits for breakfast, maybe some butter. No, maybe with some gravy. Well, we already have this. The sausage gravy biscuits are spoken for. Biscuits and honey. Biscuits and jelly. It's a side. So you would have like 2 eggs, some bacon, and then a basket of biscuits for the table. Sure, that sounds right. Okay. I'm not going to shit on anybody's bread. Biscuits are delicious. It's probably the bread product I like the most, that I eat the least. You can hate on Red Lobster all you want. I'm not like... It depends on your situation and where you live. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like, if you live in a major city, to, like, go out to eat on, a nice date to Red Lobster. You know, it's basically kind of like seafood Applebee's. But I'm not... If you're... I feel like Red Lobster takes a lot of shit. I haven't eaten at Red Lobster in a long time, but when I eat at Red Lobster, I'm not like, ooh, I'm fancy, I'm at Red Lobster. I'm like, this is a great place to get Cheddar Bay biscuits, which are fantastic, even though they're horrendous for you. But also, it's an insane place. You could pay like $20 and eat more deep fried seafood than one human being should eat probably in their entire life. That's why I'm at the Red Lobster. I don't put on nice clothes to go to the Red Lobster. Maybe like sweatpants. so that I got a little extra space for the ultimate fisherman's feast. So I'm not going to knock a biscuit. I will place it up here with the other breads where I feel like it deserves to be. I don't think I've ever had steak and eggs, but I have had steak and eggs. So I'm going to ask you for a little bit of clemency on this one because I'm going to rate it regardless. What? Be honest with me. What kind of steak normally comes in a steak and egg? Because it kind of looks like a T-bone. And if maybe we got to do a steak tier list at some point. I really feel like a T-bone is the steak that time forgot, and I don't think it's fair. I think a T-bone steak is fantastic, but is so underrepresented now. You get a little slice of the tenderloin on a T-bone. I forget what the other part is. It's a little strip loin. That's two good parts. It's strip loin and tenderloin. That's a great combo, man. Now, I mean, if they're giving you a sirloin tip with your steak and eggs, I'm not interested. It's usually cut so thin it's dog shit. Well, I mean, it does look like a steak that's impossible to cook anything but well done. What about a tomahawk steak? Maybe if you're at Newser-et, isn't that the name of Salt Bay's restaurant, where he serves you like a brontosaurus rib? It doesn't look like a great steak, I'll be honest, but I do like a T-bone steak. It's different cook rates, so you fuck up the tenderloin. Look, again, I'm just happy I like have some anecdotes for the first time in a while. But like when we went out for our Valentine's Day dinner, it was like a course menu. You could choose between several entrees. I went out in the mood for steak, and then I saw that the steak on the course menu was steak Diane, which is tenderloin, and I said, I'll take the lingcod, man. I don't put respect on the tenderloin's name as a cut in and of itself. As part of the T-bone, I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. It's, I mean, obviously it's lean, but like I don't like just the cooked beef tenderloin. It just feels like I'm eating matter. Like a strip loin is like, it's got nice ribbons of fat, and then it's got that meaty beefness, and a ribeye is kind of got the fat permeating all throughout. It's like nice and rich. A tenderloin, I'm just like, it's just meat. It's like eating a chicken breast made out of cow. Anyway, sorry. I've gone too far. This man's a damn psycho. I'm happy that other people keep buying the tenderloin so that maybe it artificially depresses the price of the strip loin. The ribeye is already gone. The secret is out. Everybody knows that the ribeye is amazing. People are buying ribeyes left, right, and center. The prices are going through the roof. The strip loin, I feel like, is still slightly slept on. People are either like, if I'm eating fancy, I'm going to get a ribeye. Otherwise, I'll just take a hanger steak. I'll take a flank steak. I'll take a top sirloin. I'm very happy still existing in that strip loin niche, which has got some great fat content, but also some nice beefiness. I'm happy that for me right now, I feel like the strip loin is still a little bit underrated. But the tenderloin, I honestly think is a little overrated personally. The ribeye is delicious, but I mean, it is very pricey. Anyway, I don't know. I don't really like eggs. Is the end of this? I don't really enjoy fried eggs. I don't really want to eat a steak for breakfast. I want to eat like potatoes and cured pork products. So I guess I would place this in the C tier. And then scrambled eggs, I'm going to be honest, for all of my egg hatred, I like a scrambled egg for sure. Worst egg, I'll fully fall on the sword of this being a little baby child's favorite way to eat eggs. I'm okay with that. I understand that, like, these are the eggs you eat when you work an honest day's living, okay? And these are the eggs you eat when you get a big breakfast from McDonald's as a little kid. But they're my favorite. At least they're not hard boiled, okay? I like us, and you know, jazz them up a little. You can add some shredded cheese to a scrambled egg. It's a very easy way to make it better. You can add some hot sauce to it. I can get down with that. I'm not rating this thing because I don't know what it is. It looks like a toilet seat. What is this? Is it Danish? I'll be honest, I can't rate this. I've never eaten this in my life. I've never eaten steak and eggs, but like that's just two things that I have eaten on the same plate. Even Chad gives like it's a bialy, it's a pita, it's a Danish. I don't know what it is. It's pita? Don't tell Harry. It's a kolache. I don't know what any. I have not been to the cool bakeries. I need to go to some cooler bakeries. No shot. It's a kolache. It's absolutely a bialy. I don't know what it. If you can't decide what it is, look. All I'm saying is these two are the same image, just with a different filter applied. And then people like within 2 seconds they were like, "Those are potatoes O'Brien." The fact that we've been looking at this thing for like an hour and we can't come up with a description of what it is, it makes me think that maybe we're better off not rating it. I'm throwing slash marker breakfast tier list and I'm sticking to it.